Happy Sunday. It's Father's Day. I'm back trying to talk about the footage that I took a while back. But anyway, this is a quick photo of the Prusa 3D printers. One of my clients trusted me to assemble a 3D printer. So because of all the delicate pieces, apparently it's very common for you to receive a 3D printer completely disassembled. And look at Sugar, he's so cute. And so I assembled it for them. That I just remember, I think total I was at the client's house for 6 hours. I was doing like other mounting stuff prior to starting the 3D printer, but yeah, I was there until like late into the evening because these pieces were so small, they're so tiny. Like, you need to get needle nose pliers to like put it into 3D printed interesting shaped pieces. Was definitely not something I've ever done before, but I feel like I'm pretty confident that if there are instructions, if there's an instruction manual, the item is new, then I can always figure out how to assemble anything. This is a clip of a park that Sugar and I had gone to, and I just thought it was interesting how this bench covering area is like half of a house. It's like a interesting pitch, and it's like half of a house. That's Sugar. So I just wanted to film that for some reason. When I started my career as a handywoman and I didn't have a lot of money and I didn't have a lot of tools, I didn't even know what really I needed to get. And I think that it's really important for you to, there's like that saying, like, cry once, buy once or something. So you're supposed to, you know, dish out the money to buy a really good quality tool. And I do believe that that holds true like for hand tools, or I don't know. Honestly, I feel like if you're starting out, you are going to make a lot of mistakes. And if you're as clumsy as I am, you're going to drop your tools and you're going to break them. And I just feel like sometimes it's okay to just get a cheap tool like from Harbor Freight or something, and because you're learning. Now, if you're already skilled and you're experienced and everything, then just get the expensive stuff and be very careful. But I'm also like, I have the mentality, like, if I'm spending a lot of money on something, then I should be able to throw it around. All this to say, in the beginning, I was going to like Goodwill and trying to find like used tools for cheap, and I don't think I was very successful in finding anything when I lived in California and I was trying to do that. But check out St. Vincent de Paul's. It's another thrift store. Their warehouses are usually bigger, and I think because like Goodwill is where most of the influencers and like curators actually go to like resell items, their prices are kind of expensive nowadays. But for some reason, St. Vincent de Paul is still pretty inexpensive. And I found these like random angle stops, and I found these like random little screws. So for cheap, bifold doors are really cheaply made. Even the hardware is like a $20 kit, and so the door itself is like mostly MDF, and it's like pretty hollow. For the bottom pivot, as the door experiences wear and tear, it will start to break, and that hole where the bottom pivot goes into will become too big. Put this metal washer there, and this actually made it sturdy, I think. And I would not recommend having to do this every single time. I wouldn't purchase large metal washers for these types of situations. And then this is a picture of the top pivot, and the top pivot usually has like a spring and it retracts. Another thing that happens is the hole at the top gets too big, or it's just like, it's not made very well. If I had more time, cut a piece of wood, slip that in there, wood glue it, and then come back another time to fit the top pivot tight. But yeah, it's tricky with these bifold doors because they're made so cheaply. This is a clip of these lift-off hinges, which I've never seen before until I worked for this preschool. The hinge with the pin sticking up like this, is the part that goes onto the door frame. And then the second component that goes onto the actual door looks like a hinge like that, except there's no pin. It's just like backwards without the pin, so it'll slide on top, so that if you needed to remove the door for any reason to like have a bit better access, you can easily do that. They have like a right hand side and a left hand side hinge, and they're not interchangeable. And so because of that, I had to order like an additional left hand side or whichever side that I needed. And I couldn't find the exact ones. These are huge, probably commercial grade. That's probably why I couldn't find any. And I wanted to get ones that were from Amazon so I can return it. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. Never seen anything like that before. I moved 39 cinder blocks from one side of the house to the other side for my client using my tool bag as a dolly, and that made my lower back hurt so much, but it was great exercise. I don't know who recommended this to me, and I've yet to pick this up, but someone recommended that this was another great drywall compound. If anyone has tried it, please let me know if you like it. I think that's it for clips that I wanted to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. Oh yeah, I am active on IG and I started a TikTok, mostly like posting old YouTube shorts and stuff, but I wanted to expand my social media because I have a passion project, and I am Japanese. I don't know if that's obvious, but I'm Japanese and I was born there. So Japan is going through a crisis, a population crisis, where there are a lot of elderly people, healthy elderly people living a very long time, which is an amazing thing, which is a beautiful thing. But what's happening is the younger generation is either moving away to the city, or the like millennials, people my age, are not having kids as much anymore because they're not making enough money, or they're depressed, or a myriad of reasons why. But we're just like, the population that should be having kids are not having as many of them, or at all. But is also happening is they become too old to take care of themselves, right, at some point, and then they have to end up abandoning their home, or if they have family, they have kids or something, they'll go live with them, or they'll be in a nursing home or like senior care facility. And there are many homes, especially in the rural area, that are completely abandoned, empty. And so my idea is, I want to go back to Japan. I want to tear down those old abandoned homes that are like way too big. I mean, in like relative to the mansions here and like huge houses in America, they're still small, but there are giant houses out there in Japan that were built many, many years ago, and people just don't live there anymore. Or it's just like not whole families, like it's just an older couple or an older person just living there by themselves until they can no longer take care of the house anymore. So my plan is to tear them down and then rebuild them into more efficient sized homes and maintain them until my work life expectancy. And when I am no longer able to help with that, because I am also old, I want to at some point start teaching women, or whoever, but I feel like women especially, because there's not enough women in the field, in the trades, and teach them to take over what I can no longer physically do for the elderly community. So that's my plan. I'm not really sure how to figure out like the logistics of it all, but I call my grandmother in Japan once a month for about an hour, and every time she's like, come back to Japan, come back. I'm like, girl, I don't even know how to speak Japanese anymore. So that's why I'm starting a social media, so that I can hopefully get funding, get word out there, so that I can work on my passion project. And still, you know, have money to support my lifestyle, support Sugar and I's expenses, and also fund the passion project. So if you have a moment and would like to support me and Sugar in any way, I'm not asking for any money. I am just, if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is this, A Handy Woman and Her Dog, and it's the same handle, spelt out, A Handy Woman and Her Dog, on TikTok and Instagram. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, I will be posting every day on all of my, or those two outlets, IG and TikTok. So don't forget to follow me there, and I will see you in my next video. Peace. Oh, Sugar's not here. Went for a run yesterday, so he's very tired. It's supposed to be summer, but it's freezing again today. Anyway, Sugar's doing well. Pretty blind on his left eye. It's very, oops, sorry baby, very bluish looking, but he's okay.